Alright, coin lovers, collectors, and curious internet wanderers, let me hit you with this question. How many of you have ever looked at a penny and thought, this thing isn't even worth bending over to pick up? Well, today, we're talking about a penny, yes, 1 cent, that could literally turn your pocket change into a $1 million payday. Yup, you heard that right. A 2016 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny recently hit the market, and guess what? Someone shelled out $1 million for it. Y'all, this is not monopoly money we're talking about. This is the real deal. So grab your change jar, pull up a chair, and let's figure out if you've been walking around with a small fortune in your pocket this whole time. Body 1. What's the deal with the 2016 no-mint Mark penny? Okay, quick history lesson for you folks who snoozed through high school history or just forgot it all, like me. Most modern pennies have a little mint mark, a D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, to tell us where they were made. But every now and then, something goes a little haywire, and we end up with a no-mint mark coin. The 2016 Lincoln penny. This penny was supposed to have a mint mark, but, surprise, it doesn't. The result? A rare, unique little copper piece of history that collectors are losing their minds over. Why is it worth so much? So, why the crazy price tag? 2 words, rarity and demand. There are only a handful of these no-mint mark pennies known to exist, and in the coin world, rare equals valuable. Plus, coin collectors are a passionate, and let's face it, slightly obsessed, bunch. If there's a rare piece up for grabs, they'll throw their wallets at it like it's Black Friday-o. And let's not forget condition. If your penny looks like it's been chewed on by your dog or run over by a lawnmower, it's probably not going to fetch $1 million. But if it's shiny, flawless, and looks like it was just minted yesterday, how do you know if you have one? Alright, this is where it gets fun. Step 1. Dig through your coin jar, your couch cushions, and yes, that cup holder in your car. You know, the one with the mystery sticky spot. Look for any 2016 pennies. Step 2. Flip them over and inspect closely. No mint mark under the date? Congrats, you might be holding a rare coin. Step 3. Don't get too excited yet. Take it to a professional coin grader. They'll let you know if it's the real deal or just an ordinary penny pretending to be special. Why personal story? Let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I was sorting through a box of old coins at my grandma's house. She's got this big jar of change she's been hoarding since like forever. I'm talking pennies from the 1960s. So there I am, hunched over, squinting at tiny dates, and my cousin walks in. He's like, "What are you doing, treasure hunting?" And I go, "Yeah, but the treasure is a penny." He laughed at me. Fast forward 2 weeks later, I found a rare wheat penny worth $50. Who's laughing now? Steve? Check your coins, folks. It's worth it. So there you have it, friends. The 2016 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. A tiny piece of copper that could be worth $1 million. Don't underestimate the power of pocket change. Who knows? Your next Starbucks run could be funded by the spare pennies at the bottom of your bag. If you found this video helpful, or you just like the idea of getting rich off pocket change, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could make you money. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next big find. You're cleaning out your junk drawer, pins that don't write, an old grocery list, a key to who knows where. And then you find a penny. But not just any penny. A 1986 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Now here's the kicker. This little guy could be worth $1.1 million. Yeah, $1 million for something that's been rattling around in your couch cushions. Intrigued? Stick around because I'm going to break down what makes this coin so valuable, how to check if you've got one, and what to do if you hit the jackpot. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1986 penny with no mint mark isn't your average penny. Most pennies from that year came from either the Denver Mint, marked with a D, or the Philadelphia Mint, which usually doesn't have a mint mark but isn't rare. However, there's one exception. A mistake was made during the minting process, creating a unique batch of pennies that collectors today are obsessed with. Why is it so valuable? Glad you asked. Coins with errors are like the celebrity gossip of the numismatic world. Everyone wants to talk about them. In this case, the missing mint mark on a specific batch of 1986 pennies turned it into a superstar. Think of it like a rare misprint on a baseball card. Quirky, unexpected, and insanely desirable to collectors. Now, before you start tearing apart your couch cushions or flipping every penny in your jar, let me tell you what to look for. The valuable 1986 no mint mark penny isn't just about the missing mark. It also has to be in pristine condition. Collectors call this mint state, and it basically means the coin looks like it was just made yesterday. No scratches, no smudges, no signs it's been through a vending machine war zone. I once thought I had struck gold, literally, when I found an old coin in my grandpa's attic. I was ready to retire early, only to discover it was worth about $5. Still, the thrill of the hunt? Totally worth it. Back to the $1,000,000 penny. If you think you've got one, the first thing to do is resist the urge to spend it on a vending machine snack. Next, you'll want to get it authenticated and graded by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These folks will assess your coin's condition and confirm if it's the real deal. Even if your penny isn't worth $1,000,000, it could still be worth something. Error coins are popular with collectors, and even a less-than-perfect one might fetch you a couple of $100s. That's still better than a penny for your thoughts, right? So, to wrap things up, that humble little penny in your pocket might just change your life. Maybe it's the 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.1 million. Or maybe it's just a fun story to tell your friends. Either way, it's worth taking a closer look. And hey, if you're into this kind of treasure hunting, or just want to learn more about coins that are secretly worth a fortune, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, stories, and strategies to share that might help you turn spare change into big bucks. Who knows, your next jackpot could be hiding in plain sight. You're digging through your couch cushions, searching for some loose change to buy a coffee, and bam, you stumble upon a penny worth $1.3 million. Sounds crazy, right? Well, today, we're talking about the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that's flipping the script on what we think of pocket change. Stick around, because you might just discover that your penny jar is actually a gold mine. Let's dive in. First things first, what's the deal with this penny? The 1972 penny without a mint mark is rare, but it's not just any old penny. This coin is a product of a fascinating minting error. In 1972, the Philadelphia Mint produced these coins, and due to a striking issue, the doubling on the coin's design makes it stand out. This error is called a double die obverse, and it's visible in the lettering, especially on words like liberty and in God we trust. The kicker? Coins with this kind of error were supposed to be caught during production, but a few managed to slip through the cracks and make their way into circulation. This penny is about as rare as finding an extra fry at the bottom of your fast food bag. Super exciting but incredibly uncommon. Out of the billions of pennies produced, only a tiny fraction has this doubling error. And when rarity meets demand, cha-ching. That's how we get to the whopping $1.3 million price tag. Okay, quick story time. A few years ago, I found a penny from the 70s while helping my grandma clean out her attic. I got all excited, thinking I'd hit the jackpot. Turns out, it wasn't the rare one. But hey, it taught me to check every coin carefully. Lesson learned. Treasure can come from the most unexpected places, even grandma's attic. Now, if you're thinking, great, but how do I know if no mint mark under the year? Look closely for doubling in the letters and numbers on the front. Grab a magnifying glass or even use your phone's camera zoom for a better look. And if you think you've got one, get it authenticated by a professional coin grader. The $1,000,000 question, literally. Why is this penny worth so much? It's all about condition. If your 1972 no mint mark penny is in pristine, uncirculated condition, collectors could pay up to $1.3 million at an auction. Even if it's not perfect, it can still fetch thousands of dollars. Not bad for something you might find in your piggy bank. So, there you have it, the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Who knew a little copper coin could hold such massive value? If you've got one of these hiding in a jar, it's time to dig it out and give it a closer look. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I'll be sharing more tips on coins worth money, hidden treasures, and strategies to uncover valuable finds. Let's turn your pocket change into a fortune together. Quick question. What's the one thing you might have lying around that could make you a millionaire overnight? Nope, not an old lottery ticket. Not your grandma's recipe for chocolate chip cookies. Try a penny. Yep, a humble, everyday penny. But not just any penny. We're talking about the elusive 1964 D. Lincoln penny. It's a tiny coin with a massive value. And believe it or not, one of these bad boys recently sold for $1.4 million. That's right, million. So, grab your coin jars, couch cushions, and old piggy banks, because today we're diving into what makes this coin so special and how you could turn pocket change into life-changing cash. Alright, first things first, let's break down why this 1964 D penny is worth more than a luxury mansion. It all starts with that tiny D mint mark, which stands for Denver, where the coin was minted. While the 1964 penny is pretty common overall, certain minting errors and rare variations make some of them extremely valuable. And that $1.4 million coin? It wasn't your average penny. It had a 1 in a billion flaw that collectors go wild for. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I found myself elbow deep in a jar of old coins. Why? Because I'd heard about these valuable pennies and figured, why not try my luck? As I'm sifting through, I came across a 1964 penny. My heart skipped a beat. Could this be it? The jackpot? The $1 million dream? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But hey, at least I got some free entertainment and a reminder to moisturize my hands. So, what exactly should you look for? Look for the D under the year. If it's there, you're off to a good start. In the most valuable 1964 D pennies typically have minting errors, like double dies or misaligned strikes. These imperfections are a collector's dream. If your penny is in pristine condition, meaning it looks fresh out of the mint, it could be worth a lot more. Dust off those magnifying glasses and start inspecting. But wait, it gets crazier. Some 1964 D pennies were accidentally struck on rare metals like bronze or silver instead of the standard copper alloy. If you have one of these misprinted coins, you might as well start drafting your retirement speech. And don't worry if you don't have the eye of a coin collector. Plenty of local coin shops or online forums, like Reddit or /coins, can help you verify your penny's worth. Just make sure you're dealing with a reputable expert. No shady back alley deals, alright? So, there you have it. The 1964 D. Lincoln penny might just be the easiest way to turn spare change into serious cash. Who knew that a coin most people overlook could be the key to your financial dreams? Now, I can't guarantee you'll find one in your pocket, but I can guarantee you'll have fun trying. And hey, at the very least, you'll finally clean out that junk drawer. Before you head off to raid your coin stash, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. If you love learning about coins, rare finds, and strategies to make money from the unexpected, this is the channel for you. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow treasure hunters, and leave a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or just want to brag about your collection. Thanks for watching, and remember, next time you see a penny on the ground, pick it up. It could be your $1 million moment. Alright, folks, what if I told you that a penny, yes, one measly cent, could turn you into a millionaire? No, this isn't a late-night infomercial or a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm talking about a little copper coin from 1982 that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.5 million. You're cleaning out an old drawer, and you come across a dusty little penny. You shrug, toss it aside, and boom, you just threw away your shot at retiring early. That's the kind of crazy coin story we're diving into today. But what makes this humble penny so valuable? And how can you make sure you don't accidentally spend a fortune on your next coffee run? Stick around, and I'll break it all down in plain English, with a few laughs along the way. Okay, let's talk specifics. The 1982 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is like the rock star of pennies. It's special for a couple of reasons. First, it's a transitional coin. 1982 was the year the U.S. Mint switched from making pennies out of 95% copper to using a zinc core with a thin copper coating. That's like going from a full-course steak dinner to a microwave meal. But here's the kicker. This particular penny wasn't supposed to exist. Now, most coins have a little mint mark that tells you where they were made, like a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But this penny? No mint mark. Nada. Zilch. It was struck in Philadelphia, which didn't usually bother stamping their coins with a mint mark back then. And this little slip-up makes the coin super rare. like winning the lottery rare. And here's the part that'll make your wallet cry if you've ever spent one. The current market value of this coin is a mind-blowing $1.5 million. Imagine walking into a coin auction with your penny and walking out with enough money to buy a mansion, or at least a lifetime supply of tacos. Now, let me tell you about the time I thought I hit the jackpot. A few years back, I was going through some old jars of coins from my grandparents' attic. I found what I thought was a rare penny. It had no mint mark and looked ancient. I was ready to call the bank, maybe even a lawyer, to prepare for my newfound fortune. Spoiler alert, it was just a dirty penny from 1992. Talk about a roller coaster of emotions. But hey, it taught me to pay more attention to the details, and that's exactly what you should do too. So, how can you tell if you've got the real deal? It has to be 1982, and it must have no mint mark. The copper version weighs about 3.11 grams, while the zinc one is lighter at 2.5 grams. A small kitchen scale can do the trick. Get it verified. Don't just rely on your eyes. Take it to a professional coin grader or use an online service for authenticity. Remember, if it's too good to be true, it might just be. But with coins, you never know. So, what's the moral of today's story? Don't underestimate those pennies jingling around in your couch cushions. That little piece of copper could be your ticket to financial freedom, or at least a really fun story to tell at parties. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth money, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss my next video where I'll reveal more hidden treasures that might be hiding in plain sight. And hey, if you've got a cool coin story or think you found a rare penny, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Imagine finding a penny in your pocket that could make you a millionaire. No, I'm not joking, and no, this isn't some made-up treasure hunt. Today, we're talking about the legendary 1993 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, which recently sold for an eye-popping $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.6 million for a coin that probably jingled in someone's pocket. Stick around, and I'll tell you why this coin is so special, how to identify it, and, most importantly, how you might stumble upon one in your loose change. Spoiler alert. I may or may not have spent an entire weekend going through my piggy bank. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The 1993 no-mint mark penny is part of the Lincoln Cent series. For those new to coin collecting, a mint mark is the little letter on the coin that tells you where it was made: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But here's the kicker. If a penny from 1993 doesn't have a mint mark, it wasn't supposed to exist. That's a factory oopsie of epic proportions. Why is this such a big deal? Coin collectors love errors, especially rare ones like this. It's like owning a baseball card where the player is wearing two left shoes. It's quirky, unique, and insanely valuable. Now, don't go throwing all your 1993 pennies in the air just yet. This specific no-mint mark penny is so rare that only a handful have been authenticated. It's not just the missing mint mark that makes it valuable. It's also in near-perfect condition, graded as MS 68. Translation? It's practically flawless. Think of it as the Beyoncé of coins. Rare, beautiful, and worth millions. The most recent auction for this beauty? A jaw-dropping $1.6 million. I know. Most of us don't even have $1.6 million to dream about, let alone spend on a penny. But for collectors, this is the holy grail. So, how do you know if you've got the golden, or in this case, copper, ticket? First, look for a 1993 Lincoln penny. Next, check under the year. No little D or S? Congratulations, you might have a no-mint mark penny. But, and this is a big but, don't start celebrating just yet. Get it authenticated by a professional grading service. These folks are the Sherlock Holmes of coins, and they'll tell you if it's the real deal or just a regular penny pretending to be special. I actually thought I hit the jackpot once. I found a 1993 penny without a mint mark and nearly screamed my house down. I called my mom, told her I was retiring, and started Googling private islands for sale. Turns out, I had no idea what I was doing. It was just a regular penny from Philadelphia, where they don't use mint marks. Let's just say I've never been more disappointed by a piece of copper in my life. Lesson learned. Always do your homework. All right, folks, now it's your turn. Go check your coin jars, wallets, or wherever you stash your pennies. You never know what you might find. And if you do happen to stumble upon a 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny, don't forget about me when you're rolling in millions, okay? If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins that could be worth a fortune, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next one. We've got more hidden treasures to uncover. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, meh, just a penny? Well, today, we're talking about a tiny coin that might just be the key to your wildest dreams. That's right. There's a 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yes, million. And guess what? You could be carrying one in your pocket right now. So, don't toss that spare change just yet. Stick around because we're about to dive into how to spot this treasure and what makes it so valuable. Let's get started. So, why is this little penny worth more than a Lamborghini? The 1967 Lincoln penny doesn't have a mint mark. Normally, coins have letters like D for Denver or S for San Francisco to show where they were made. But this penny? Nada. Zip. It's an enigma, and that makes it rare. Combine that with an extraordinary minting error, and boom, collectors are willing to fork over millions. In 1967, the U.S. Mint temporarily stopped using mint marks to reduce coin hoarding during a coin shortage. It's like the mint gave us a puzzle piece and said, good luck finding it. Now, let's talk money. What makes this penny so special? It's not just about the missing mint mark. Experts believe some of these coins were struck using a die intended for proof coins, those super shiny ones meant for collectors. A pristine 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny sold for $1.7 million because it was graded MS-67, meaning it was in near-perfect condition. It's like finding a 1967 car that's never been driven and still has that new car smell. In coin terms, that's mint. Get it? So, how do you know if you've got the golden, or should I say copper, ticket? First, grab your pennies from the couch cushions, your car cup holder, or that random jar in the kitchen. Look for these things. Check for any errors like doubling on the letters or numbers. That could make it even more valuable. Pro tip: use a magnifying glass or a phone camera to zoom in. You don't want to miss a detail. You know, this reminds me of the time I was cleaning out my grandma's attic. I found this old tin box filled with coins, and I thought I'd struck gold, literally. I spent an entire weekend Googling every single penny. Spoiler alert, no million-dollar finds, but I did learn that one of them was worth about 50 bucks. Not bad for a dusty tin. My grandma? She said, you can keep the box, but leave me the stories. So, here's your reminder. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. Okay, let's talk numbers. The $1.7 million sale set a record, but even less than perfect 1967 no mint mark pennies can fetch thousands of dollars. If you think you've got one, here's what you should do. Get it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. Check auction sites like Heritage Auctions or Stax Bowers. Avoid selling it to just any coin shop. They might lowball you. Conclusion. So, there you have it. The 1967 Lincoln penny that could make you a millionaire. Maybe it's time to check that change jar, huh? And hey, if you do find one, let me know. I'll trade you my whole penny collection for it. But seriously, don't miss out on more tips and stories about coins that could make you rich. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you're the first to know about the next big coin discovery. Who knows? Your pocket change might just change your life. Hey there, treasure hunters. Imagine this. You're casually digging through your pocket change, looking for vending machine money, and boom, you find a penny. But not just any penny, the penny. What if I told you that one little, unassuming Abraham Lincoln penny from 1988 could be worth $1.8 million today? Yes, you heard that right, million with an M. And no, I'm not talking about pennies from a hidden pirate treasure. I'm talking about something you might already have sitting in your piggy bank or junk drawer. Intrigued? You should be. Let's dive into the story of the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny that's breaking the bank and changing lives. Okay, first things first, what makes this penny so special? It's all about the mint mark, or in this case, the lack of one. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark. That's not unusual. But what is unusual is that this particular penny has a rare design anomaly. It's called the close AM variety, where the and M in America on the reverse side are practically hugging. You'd think they were best friends or something. I remember when I first heard about this coin. I spent 2 hours going through every penny in my house, from the jar in my closet to the change in my car cup holder. Let me tell you, there is nothing more humbling than realizing you've been carrying around a pocket full of pennies your whole life and never knew they could be worth more than the sandwich you were about to buy. So, why is it worth $1.8 million? It's all about rarity and demand. This coin is like the Beyoncé of pennies, one of a kind, flawless, and everyone wants it. Collectors go absolutely nuts over these kinds of errors because they're accidental masterpieces. Back in 1988, someone at the mint wasn't paying attention, and this little gem slipped through the cracks. Now, it's a legend. People have actually found these coins in circulation. One guy reportedly discovered his while checking change from a gas station. Just imagine that, filling up your tank and walking away a millionaire. If that's not motivation to stop paying with credit cards, I don't know what is. So, what's the moral of the story here? Check your change. That coffee shop penny could be your golden ticket. But don't stop there. Dive into those old piggy banks, raid your parents' junk drawers, and for heaven's sake, don't overlook that sad little pile of pennies on your nightstand. If you want to stay ahead of the game and learn more about coins that are secretly worth a fortune, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with your fellow treasure hunters. You never know. One of them might owe you a finder's fee when they strike it rich. Hey there, treasure hunters. Imagine this. You're digging through your pocket change and BAM. You find a penny. Just a regular OL penny, right? Wrong. That humble copper coin could be hiding a secret worth $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 2007 D. Lincoln penny, the kind you've probably tossed in a jar 100 times, is making waves in the coin collecting world. And today, we're diving deep to find out why this little penny has hit the jackpot. But first, a quick story to get us started. Last week, I was cleaning out my junk drawer. You know, the one with batteries that don't work, old receipts, and a mystery key to something. Anyway, I found a penny in there. I almost tossed it, but then I thought, wait, what if this is the one? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But it got me thinking, how many of us are literally throwing away a fortune without even knowing it? Let's break it down. The D stands for the Denver Mint, where this coin was struck. Most pennies from this year are as ordinary as my coffee addiction. But there's a rare error variation that collectors are drooling over. This penny has a unique die error. Basically, a mistake during the minting process that makes it 1 in a million. Literally, the error could be a double die, an off-center strike, or even a planchet issue. That's the blank metal disc before it becomes a coin. These quirks transform an everyday penny into a collector's dream. And the best part? Most people don't even know they're holding a treasure in their hands. A rare 2007 D penny recently fetched a jaw-dropping $1 million at auction. Why? Because serious collectors are like Pokemon trainers. They gotta catch 'em all, and they're willing to pay top dollar for the rarest finds. Think of this like baseball cards or vintage comic books. The rarer the item and the better its condition, the higher the value. So if you've got a 2007 D penny in pristine condition with that sweet error, congratulations. You might just be sitting on a gold mine, or copper mine technically. What should you look for? 5 to 7 minutes. Now, let's get practical. If you're staring at your jar of coins right now, here's what to do. Grab a magnifying glass. Trust me, it's not just for detectives and old-timey movies. Look for anything weird, doubling of letters, numbers, or Lincoln's profile. Check the rim. Is it off-center or extra thick? Examine the date and the D mint mark closely. Any unusual features could mean you've hit the jackpot. If you're not sure what you're looking at, take it to a professional coin dealer or grading service. They'll help you determine if your penny is the real deal. And hey, it's way more fun than another trip to the grocery store, right? Okay, confession time. I once thought I found a rare penny at a flea market. It had a weird mark near the date, and I was convinced I'd uncovered a hidden gem. I even did a victory dance in the parking lot. Yes, There's footage, and no, I'm not showing it. Long story short, it turned out to be just a regular penny that got damaged in someone's washing machine. Lesson learned. Do your homework before you start dreaming about early retirement. Wrapping it up, 2 to 3 minutes. So there you have it, folks. The 2007 D. Lincoln penny that could change your life. Is it rare? Yes. Is it worth hunting for? Absolutely. But even if you don't find that $1 million coin, you've got a new appreciation for those little copper discs jingling in your pocket. Who knows? The next time you're sorting through change, you might uncover your own treasure. Now, here's the deal. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and stories coming your way. Plus, let's face it, you'd rather spend your time treasure hunting than binge watching yet another TV series, right? Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Who knows? You might just help someone else discover their own $1 million penny. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Big Coins Dealer. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more tips about coins that could change your financial future. I'm James, and today we're talking about the 1966 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. No, it's not a typo, and no, you don't need to start digging through all your old pennies just yet. But trust me, this penny could be sitting in your collection right now, waiting to make you a millionaire. So, what's the deal with the 1966 Lincoln penny? I bet you've seen it 1,000 times, maybe even used it to buy a cup of coffee or pay for parking. But here's the kicker. A specific 1966 penny can be worth a mind-blowing $1.1 million. Yes, really. That little copper circle sitting in your pocket could be worth more than your rent. Before we go any further, let's talk about how this all works. Every year, the U.S. Mint stamps coins with a mint mark, which tells you where they were made. Most pennies have a mint mark, like the famous D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But in 1966, something strange happened. Some pennies were released with no mint mark at all. And when this happened, collectors went wild. Now, how do you spot one of these hidden treasures? It's simple. Take a good look at the back of your 1966 penny. No mint mark means it could be a gem. You're looking for a penny that's literally missing the mint mark, but otherwise, it looks like any other penny you've seen. No fancy features, no flashy details. Just a plain old penny that might be sitting in your drawer right now. I remember the first time I came across one of these. It was back when I was going through my old piggy bank, looking for spare change to grab a snack. I thought, hey, maybe this old penny will be worth something. I checked it under the light, didn't see anything special, tossed it back in my jar, and didn't think twice. Yeah, I know, rookie mistake. Fast forward a few years, and I'm sitting here telling you that one of those could have been worth $1 million. Sometimes the stuff you overlook could make you rich. Lesson learned. Now, if you're thinking, well, what makes a penny with no mint mark worth so much? It's because it was a mistake. People love mistakes when it comes to coins. They're rare, they're odd, and in the world of collecting, they make things super valuable. The fact that these pennies were struck with no mint mark makes them a rare anomaly. And the rarer, the better when it comes to collecting coins. It's like finding an old comic book with a printing error. Only in the coin world, you've got a tiny piece of history sitting in your pocket. To make things even crazier, it's not just any 1966 penny. The ones that are really worth the big bucks are in pristine condition. We're talking about pennies that are in near-perfect shape. If it's scratched up or looks like it's been through the laundry machine a few times, well, your chances of hitting that $1.1 million mark are pretty slim. But hey, if it's in good shape, it might still be worth hundreds, if not thousands. To give you a little more context, one of these 1966 no-mint mark pennies was sold at auction for $1.1 million. That was back in 2016. So, there's some real value here, especially if you can find a rare one in great condition. And get this, these coins have been flying under the radar for years. People just weren't paying attention, but now that the word's out, these pennies are getting more attention than ever. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Not every 1966 penny without a mint mark will make you rich. If you want to maximize your chances of selling it for big money, you'll want to get it graded by a professional. That'll let you know its true condition and value. Trust me, You don't want to try selling a penny like this on eBay without knowing exactly what you've got. You could end up getting way less than it's worth, and no one wants that. So, what should you do with all this info? Start checking your pennies, of course, but don't stop there. There are tons of rare and valuable coins out there just waiting for you to find them. Remember, the key to spotting valuable coins is knowing what to look for. And lucky for you, I'm here to share those tips with you every week. If you want to keep discovering coins worth big money and learn the best strategies for collecting, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss out on the next hidden treasure. Plus, I'll be sharing more coin tips, fun facts, and stories about my own coin collecting journey. I promise you'll want to stick around. So, you've probably got a ton of pennies lying around in drawers, under the couch cushions, maybe even buried in the backyard somewhere. The usual places. But what if I told you that one single penny, yeah, that little copper guy you've probably ignored, could be worth a ridiculous amount of money? I'm talking $1.2 million. And no, I haven't lost my mind. Stick with me. I promise you're going to want to check every single penny you have after hearing this. Pause for effect. Hold up the 2016 D penny. This, my friends, is the 2016 D penny. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's so special about this little guy? Well, buckle up, because I'm about to blow your mind. By the end of this video, you might just find yourself inspecting every penny you own like it's a rare treasure. Who knew pennies could make you rich, right? Okay, so let's talk about the 2016 D penny. For most of us, the penny is a coin we toss in our jar. Or if you're like me, you let them stack up in your cup holder until it's a minor inconvenience to drive because the coins keep rolling around. But here's the thing. This particular penny, the 2016 D, is rare and valuable. And when I say rare, I mean it's so rare that it's sending some serious shockwaves through the coin collecting world. You might even get a little giddy once you realize what it's worth. You're probably wondering, how in the world did a penny from 2016 suddenly become so valuable? Well, it's a combo of things: mistakes, rarity, and a little bit of luck. In 2016, the US Mint produced a batch of pennies that had a certain defect, a doubling effect on the numbers and letters. It's a minting error where the engraving on the coin gets duplicated, making it appear as if some of the text and details are doubled. This error is not common, and that's where the value lies. Now, imagine walking into a coin shop, pulling out a handful of pennies, and one of them, one single penny, turns out to be this special 2016 D with the doubling. The value of that penny could skyrocket to $1.2 million. That's right, this small, often overlooked coin could be worth more than a luxury car or even a house in some places. Who would have thought, right? Cut to a playful shot of the host holding a magnifying glass to a penny, squinting like Sherlock Holmes. I can't even look at a penny the same way anymore. I remember finding a penny in the street a few months ago. I almost didn't pick it up because I thought, another dirty, grimy penny. But now, I'm squinting at it, flipping it over, checking every inch like I'm on a treasure hunt. If there's one thing I've learned in this coin business, it's that you never know what hidden gems are lying around. Now let's break down the actual process. For this coin to be worth $1.2 million, it's got to have all the right conditions. It's got to be in pristine condition, meaning it has to have almost no wear or damage. The more perfect the penny, the more value it holds. You don't want a penny with scratches, dents, or discoloration. So, if you find one in good shape, congratulations, you might just be sitting on a gold mine. But here's the catch. These pennies aren't super common. In fact, it's a pretty rare find. Only a handful of these coins have been discovered in circulation, and that's what makes them so valuable. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. But hey, sometimes haystacks are just the right place to search. Cut to a scene of the host pretending to search through a pile of pennies dramatically. Imagine me diving into a pile of pennies at a flea market, looking for this $1 million coin. I'd probably look a bit insane. But hey, coin hunting is kind of like that. A mix of passion, a little bit of luck, and an eagle eye. It's worth the hustle. But don't go crazy and start grabbing every 2016 D penny you see. You still need to do some detective work. Before you start calling your friends to brag about finding your new treasure, Here's what you need to know about these pennies and how to spot the ones that could make you rich. Look closely for doubling. Now, this isn't just any doubling. We're talking about clear, obvious doubling on the letters and numbers. Most people can spot it with a magnifying glass, and some of the best examples of these errors are incredibly clear. If you see any of this doubling on the date or the mint mark, you've got a keeper. So, the next time you're at the grocery store or digging through your change, remember that that little penny you toss aside could be the key to a small fortune. And hey, even if it's not the rare 2016 D penny with the error, it's still a fun hobby to collect and search for those hidden treasures. But here's the thing. If you want to keep learning about rare coins, how to spot their value, and the best tips for finding that next big score, don't forget to subscribe. You never know. Next week's video might just give you the tip that helps you turn your change jar into a mini fortune. You're digging through your change at the local coffee shop, mindlessly grabbing a penny from the counter. You look at it for a second, maybe roll your eyes, because it's just another penny, right? But what if I told you that very penny could be worth $1.3 million? Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Well, that's the reality with the 2008 Abraham Lincoln penny, and today, we're going to talk about why this little coin could be your ticket to a small fortune. Stick around for the next 20 minutes, and I'll tell you exactly what to look for, what makes this penny so rare, and how you can turn a casual glance at your change into a serious treasure hunt. Let's get started. All right, first things first, let's set the stage. The year was 2008, a pretty wild time in the world. People were still rocking flip phones, Facebook was just becoming a thing, and Barack Obama was about to become the first black president of the United States. And in the world of coins, something strange happened. The US Mint was in full swing, cranking out billions of pennies that year. But in the midst of all this, a tiny little mistake was made that would end up costing people like you and me big money. And the best part? Most of us have never even noticed it. Most of the 2008 pennies you find in your pocket or jar are totally normal. They have the familiar P Mint mark on them, which indicates they were made at the Philadelphia Mint. But, and here's the big twist, some pennies, only a few, were accidentally struck without any mint mark at all. Yep, these are the no mint mark 2008 Lincoln pennies. You're probably wondering, why does that matter? Well, the mint mark is typically placed on a coin to tell us where it was made. Most of the time, we don't think twice about it. But the lack of one on the 2008 penny is what makes it so rare and valuable. A mint markless penny from that year is an error coin, and as we all know, in the world of collectibles, error coins can be worth big bucks. Now, let me hit you with the kicker. A no mint mark 2008 Lincoln penny can sell for up to $1.3 million. Yep, you heard that right. $1.3 million for a single penny. It sounds insane, but it's true. There have been auctions where these rare pennies have fetched astronomical amounts, and if you happen to find one, you could be holding on to a literal gold mine. Let's talk about how to find this little treasure. Here's the first thing you need to know. These no mint mark pennies aren't as easy to find as regular pennies. They are incredibly rare, and it's estimated that only about 24 of them were ever made. That's it. So, if you find one, you've basically struck the coin lottery.so. How do you identify one? It's actually simpler than you might think. The key is to look for a 2008 penny that has no mint mark. The absence of the mint mark will be obvious. Normally, you'll find a P for Philadelphia or a D for Denver on the penny, but if there's no letter there, you've got yourself an error coin. The date will still be 2008, and the design will be that classic Abraham Lincoln bust on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Not every no mint mark penny is worth $1.3 million. Sorry to burst your bubble, but condition matters. A worn, beaten-up penny might not get you the big bucks, no matter how rare it is. The more pristine the coin is, the higher the value. If you find one in mint condition, meaning it's almost flawless, you could be looking at a six-figure payout, at least. Now, let's get a little personal. I remember once going through a jar of loose change from an old piggy bank I had. I was just looking for a few quarters to throw into the laundry machine when, to my surprise, I found a 2008 penny that didn't have a mint mark. I did a double take. I had heard about these rare pennies before, but never thought I'd find one myself. My heart skipped a beat, but when I took a closer look, it had some serious wear and tear. It wasn't in mint condition, unfortunately. I held on to it for a while, just in case it was worth something, but it didn't end up being the $1 million find I'd hoped for. You have to keep looking, and sometimes, even the smallest coin can turn into something huge if you know what you're doing. Who knows, maybe one day I'll find another one, hopefully in better shape this time. The 2008 no-mint mark penny could be worth a lot of money, and if you're out there checking your spare change, you just might get lucky. But remember, you've got to be on the lookout. These rare coins are elusive, but finding one can change your financial future. So, next time you grab a penny out of your pocket or wallet, take a second to check for that mint mark. If you see nothing, you just might have a tiny little treasure on your hands. And hey, if you find one, make sure to tell me about it. I'd love to hear your story. Before I go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out on more tips about coins that are worth money. I'll be sharing more strategies on how to find rare coins and what makes them so valuable. Thanks for watching, and may your change jar be filled with treasures. If you've got any 2008 pennies lying around, don't toss them yet. Check for the mint mark. And if you found anything crazy or just want to talk coins, drop a comment below. Trust me, I'll be checking to see who's got the rarest finds. The one you've been ignoring for years? It could be worth, wait for it, $1.40 million. Yeah, you heard that right. The 1992 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny might just be sitting in your change jar, ready to make you a millionaire. Stick around because I'm going to tell you how this tiny little coin went from being just another penny to a serious cash contender. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking your wallet like it's Black Friday. Okay, so let's break this down. We all know the Lincoln penny, right? It's been around since 1909, and that little copper, or copper-plated zinc, coin has a long history of showing up in our pockets, purses, and change jars. Most of the time, they're worth, well, 1 cent. But there's one 1992 D penny that defies all expectations. It's worth way more than that. Now, the 1992 D penny isn't rare by itself. I mean, they made over 6 billion of them that year. But there's a catch. You see, there's this tiny little error, barely visible to the naked eye, that makes this penny valuable. Well, to be exact, $1.4 million valuable. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy. You're probably thinking, what's so special about this penny? Did someone drop it in a time machine or something? No, it's not from the future. But it is a coin with a minting error, and it's a big one. Host holds up a regular 1992 D penny next to a blurry photo of the error penny. Okay, so the magic happens with something called a double die. In simple terms, the die that was used to stamp the penny wasn't aligned properly, so the design got double stamped. You can see the results in the lettering and even parts of Abraham Lincoln's face. If you've got one of these coins, it's seriously worth a lot of money. We're talking millions. So how do you know if your penny is one of the lucky ones? Great question. Here's the trick. Check the lettering. Look for the doubled words Liberty and In God We Trust. If they're thicker, or if the letters look like they have a shadow or a double outline, congratulations. You might just have a rare coin on your hands. Now, you're probably thinking, I don't even have a magnifying glass. How am I supposed to spot a double die? Don't worry. It's not like you need to be a coin expert or own a fancy microscope. Just take a close look under normal light. And if the letters seem off, well, start doing a happy dance. You might want to send it to a professional coin grader to make sure it's the real deal. But let me tell you, I've been there. I once found a penny that I thought was rare, only to later realize it was just a regular penny with some weird dirt on it. Yeah, I got a little too excited. But that's part of the fun, right? Coin collecting is a game of patience and curiosity. And who knows, maybe the next coin you find will be the jackpot. Okay, back to the $1.4 million penny. So, where can you sell one of these things if you're lucky enough to have it? Well, eBay, online auctions, and even coin dealers could be your go-to spots. Some have sold for way more than $1.4 million, depending on the condition of the coin and the buyer. It's a huge market, and let me tell you, collectors will go wild over this stuff. But here's a quick reminder. Be cautious when selling. Scammers exist in the coin world, just like in any other market. Make sure you're dealing with a reputable seller or auction house. And if you get offered a price that sounds too good to be true, well, you know what they say. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So, that's the lowdown on the 1992 D penny and why it could make you a lot of money. Who knew a penny could be worth a small fortune, right? I'm telling you. Check your change, check your piggy bank, and hey, maybe even check under the couch cushions. You never know when you might find a treasure. And if you want more tips like this, whether it's rare coins, valuable finds, or strategies for selling your coins, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You don't want to miss out on the next big coin discovery. Trust me, it could be your penny that's next in line for millions. All right, I'm off to check my own change jar again. But remember, coin collecting is a journey. Keep hunting, keep learning, and you just might stumble upon something incredible. Yeah, you with the pocket change. What if I told you that you might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it? No, I'm not talking about that half-eaten pizza from last week. I'm talking about a coin that's worth over $1.5 million. Yup, you heard that right. It's the 1971 penny. And no, it's not your regular penny. This one's got a twist, no mint mark, and it's sitting out there in the wild, waiting to make you a millionaire. Sounds like a treasure hunt, right? Well, buckle up, because we're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins today. All right, let's rewind for a second. We all have those moments where we find a coin in the couch cushions or the bottom of a drawer, and we think, meh, it's just a penny. No big deal. But what if I told you that some of those meh pennies are actually worth more than a day's worth of your daily coffee run? Yeah, crazy, right? Let's take a look at one particular penny, an unassuming little 1971 Lincoln penny, and see why it's making headlines. And trust me, this isn't some clickbait title. It's the real deal. So, grab your magnifying glass, folks, because you might be holding a gold mine. Oh, you're probably wondering, what makes this penny so special? It's just a penny, right? Well, let's break it down. First off, this isn't your ordinary 1971 penny. Most of the 1971 pennies you come across are, well, just pennies. They were made with the usual copper and zinc mix, and most of them have a mint mark, either an S for San Francisco or a D for Denver. But here's where it gets interesting. The 1971 penny without a mint mark. That's right, it doesn't have any indication of where it was minted. It was supposed to be a production mistake, an error in the process, but those mistakes? Well, they're often the ones that make a coin valuable. You're walking down the street, maybe checking out some old coins at a flea market, and you spot a penny. You casually look at it, and boom, no mint mark. You think, oh, this is weird. Maybe it's worth something. And guess what? You're right. That penny might be worth hundreds, or even millions of dollars. In fact, there's one 1971 penny, with no mint mark, that recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. That's not a typo. $1.5 million for a coin worth just 1 cent when it was minted. Okay, so now I need to go through all my change, looking for these 1971 pennies. But how do I even know if mine is worth that much? Well, here's where the story gets fun and a little personal. Let me tell you a little story about my own coin discovery moment. I remember digging through my old jar of coins one day, just looking for spare change to use for laundry. I had this one penny from 1967 that I thought was cool because it was older than most of the other pennies. But then I remembered my coin hunting friend telling me that old coins can sometimes be worth a ton, especially if they have weird features like errors or misprints, so I did what anyone would do. I took out my trusty magnifying glass, started inspecting the penny like I was on some coin detective mission, and lo and behold, it was just a regular 1967 penny. Not a valuable one, but the excitement, even for a second, was real. It got me hooked. And now, I'm always looking for coins with something out of the ordinary. Now, back to the 1971 penny. The big question is, how do you know if it's the million-dollar variety? First, look closely for the mint mark. If it's a blank space where the mint mark should be, that's your first clue. Then, check for the condition. The penny should be in near-perfect shape to fetch that high price. We're talking about a penny that's barely worn down, almost like it was just pulled out of a freshly opened roll of coins. Here's the kicker. These no mint mark pennies are incredibly rare. It's believed that only a small number of them were accidentally produced without the mint mark, so finding one is like winning the coin lottery. But don't worry. Even if you don't find a penny worth $1.5 million, there are plenty of other rare coins out there that could be worth a pretty penny, or maybe even a small fortune. You just have to know where to look. All right, let's wrap this up. You now know that there are hidden treasures in your pocket change. Yes, even in the pennies. The 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny might just be your ticket to a serious windfall. But hey, don't get discouraged if you don't have one in your change jar. There are other rare coins out there that could bring in some serious cash, so next time you're rooting around for a quarter for the vending machine, take a moment to look at your pennies. You never know what you might be holding on to. And who knows, you might just find that $1.5 million penny, and I'll be right here, cheering you on. If you want more tips on coins worth money and strategies to build your collection, hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of coin knowledge to share, and I'm always here for your next big find. I'm sure you've all seen a penny at least once today, right? I mean, they're everywhere, clinking around in your pocket, hidden in the couch cushions, or maybe even tossed into that jar you've been meaning to sort through for years. But what if I told you that one of these little guys, a penny of all things, could be worth $1.6 million? Yep, you heard me right. It's not some fantasy, not some imaginative scenario. I'm talking real-life money right here. So, stick around, because today we're diving into the mystery of the 1991 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny and why this little coin could change your life forever. Let's get started. All right, let's break this down. The 1991 penny, nothing special, right? It's copper. It's got Abe Lincoln's face on it, and it's a penny. Not the kind of coin you'd think could be hiding a small fortune. But here's the twist. Some of these pennies are different. The 1991 penny, to be exact, could have no mint mark. Now, if you're like me, you might be wondering, what in the world is a mint mark? Good question. Mint marks are little letters stamped on coins that tell you where the coin was made. Most coins have one, but here's the kicker. The 1991 penny. Some of them don't have any mint mark at all. And it's these no mint mark pennies that have caught the attention of collectors, and we're talking some serious attention. So, what makes these missing mint mark pennies so valuable? Well, it all comes down to a huge mistake by the US Mint. In 1991, they accidentally produced a batch of pennies with no mint mark at all. Now, as you can imagine, a mistake like this is pretty rare in the world of coin production. And when something's rare, it becomes valuable. Simple as that. Collectors started to realize that these pennies were in error, and over time, their value began to skyrocket. Fast forward to today, and one of these pennies could be worth a whopping $1.6 million. Yeah, I know, it's insane. But how do you know if you've got one? How can you spot this elusive error penny among all the other pennies cluttering your change jar? Let's break it down. Cut to a close-up of a penny with no mint mark, zooming in on the date and the Lincoln Memorial. You need to check the date. If it's 1991, we're off to a good start. Next, flip it over. You're looking for the absence of the mint mark, which should be right below the date. The mint marks are usually an S for San Francisco, a D for Denver, or a blank space if you have the error coin. No mint mark at all? Bingo! You might have a rare one. Cut to you holding two pennies up to the camera, one with a mint mark and one without. Now, I've got to tell you, not all no mint mark pennies are worth millions. There are some that are worth less, depending on their condition, but let me tell you something. If you've got one of the rare, high-grade 1991 no mint mark pennies, you could be sitting on a gold mine. Imagine finding it in a jar of pennies you've been holding onto for years. It's like winning the lottery, but with a penny. Cut to a humorous cutaway of you rummaging through a jar of pennies, pretending to get super excited when you find one. I'm sure I've got one in here somewhere. Wait, no, that's just a 1979. Okay, back to the important stuff. Let me tell you a quick story about my penny hunting. A few months ago, I was going through some old coin jars I'd inherited from my grandpa. Nothing fancy, just the usual assortment of pennies, nickels, and dimes. Well, I started digging through them, and I came across a penny that just felt off. I didn't know why, but it just seemed different. It wasn't until I got a closer look that I realized it was a 1969 S, and I thought to myself, wait a second, I remember reading about these coins online. They're worth a lot of money. Sure enough, it turned out to be worth several $100s. Nothing like the $1.6 million we're talking about today, but it was a nice surprise. I was just lucky to find that coin. But the lesson here is simple. Sometimes, these things can be hiding right under your nose. So keep an eye out. So, here's the deal. The 1991 Nomit Mark penny is one of the rarest and most valuable coins in the world right now, and it could be sitting in your pocket, your coin jar, or your grandpa's collection. If you find one, you might just be holding on to a small fortune. So, keep those eyes peeled, check your change, and who knows, maybe that penny you thought was just another penny could make you a millionaire. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding rare coins, making money from your collection, and all things numismatic, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss out on more tips and tricks to help you find coins worth a whole lot more than their face value. And no, I'm not talking about those shiny new pennies your grandma gives you for Christmas. Today, we're diving into the 1952 Wheat Abraham Lincoln penny that could be worth up to $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.7 million. I know, it's like finding a golden ticket in a candy bar, except it's not chocolate, and it's definitely not the candy you were hoping for. But trust me, it's better. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this humble penny could make you a millionaire and how you can spot a valuable coin in your own collection, or even in your pocket change. But first, let me take you on a little trip down memory lane, because we've got some serious history to unpack. Alright, let's break it down. We all know pennies, right? Those copper beauties that seem to pile up in your pockets, in the car, or under your couch cushions like they're multiplying. But the 1952 Wheat penny? Oh boy, this one's special. To understand why, let's take a quick history lesson. Back in 1952, the US Mint was churning out pennies like there was no tomorrow. The wheat penny, which had been in circulation since 1909, was still the design of choice. If you look closely at the back of these pennies, you'll see two stalks of wheat, hence the name wheat penny. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's face is proudly displayed because, well, it's Lincoln. Who else would be on the penny, right? Now, here's where it gets interesting. The 1952 Wheat penny wasn't just another run-of-the-mill coin. It was minted at the San Francisco Mint, and believe it or not, there were some serious quality control issues. Many of these pennies came out looking a little off. Some had weak strikes, some had surface imperfections, and others were just flat-out misprinted. These small imperfections? Well, they were actually the key to making them incredibly rare and valuable. So, fast forward to today. A few of these rare 1952 Wheat pennies, especially those with minimal wear and a well-defined strike, are worth a lot of money. I'm talking up to $1.7 million for the right coin. These pennies are like the unicorns of the coin world, extremely rare, and when you find one, it's like hitting the jackpot. A lot of coin collectors and investors are on the lookout for these specific pennies, and if you happen to stumble upon one, well, you can start planning your vacation to a private island. Not all 1952 pennies are worth $1 million. In fact, most of them are worth just the face value of 1 cent, or maybe a little more if they're in good condition. So, what makes the $1 million one so special? It's all about grade and rarity. Coins are graded based on their condition, and the better the grade, the higher the value. A penny that's been tucked away in a safe, untouched by the elements, and well-preserved has a better chance of being worth big bucks. So, how do you know if you've got one of these bad boys hiding in your pocket? Well, here's a little tip. If the coin has a crisp strike, strong wheat stalks, and minimal wear, you're on the right track. But remember, it's not just about the condition. It's also about rarity. And, honestly, these rare 1952 wheat pennies aren't easy to find. Most people don't even know what to look for. Speaking of finding rare coins, let me tell you a little story. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my old piggy bank, the one that's been gathering dust since high school, and I found a bunch of old coins. I thought, hey, maybe there's something valuable here. I was so excited that I spent the next 2 hours Googling every coin I could find. Turns out, most of them were just pennies. But I did stumble upon a 1943 steel penny. You know what? It was worth like $50. Not quite a million, but it was still pretty awesome to find something in my dusty old bank that actually had some value. That moment got me thinking. Imagine if one of those pennies had been the 1952 wheat penny worth $1.7 million. I'd be sitting pretty right now, sipping on iced tea, and telling you all about how I'm living the dream. Moral of the story? You never know what hidden gems are out there just waiting for you to discover. So, what's the takeaway here? The 1952 wheat penny is a super rare find, but it's also a reminder that there are valuable coins out there, waiting to be discovered in your collection, your pocket change, or maybe even your grandparents' coin jar. The key is knowing what to look for and being diligent in your search. Who knows? Maybe you've got a future million-dollar coin sitting in your coin collection right now. And if you enjoyed this little coin adventure and want to learn more about coins that could be worth serious cash, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips and tricks to share, plus stories that'll make you laugh and keep you informed. So, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and let's keep hunting for those hidden treasures together. Who knows what we'll find next? We're diving into one of the rarest, most mind-blowing pennies you could ever stumble upon. The 1988 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And guess what? This little guy can fetch a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yes, you heard me right. We're talking about a coin worth more than most people's houses. But what makes this penny so valuable? Stick with me and let's break it down. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could a penny from 1988 possibly be worth that much? Was it made from solid gold? No, no, it's not gold. It's just a regular old copper penny, but with a twist. Every penny minted in the United States has a mint mark on it, typically located on the reverse side, near the date. This mint mark tells us where the coin was made. Most pennies are made in one of three mints: Philadelphia, denoted by the P, Denver, the D, or San Francisco, S. But for some reason, a handful of 1988 pennies were made in Philadelphia without any mint mark. That's right, no mint mark at all. And guess what that makes them? Super rare. Why? Because people tend to think that mint marks are just part of the normal coin-making process. But when a penny shows up without one, collectors flip out. It's like finding a misprint in a rare comic book, totally unique, hard to come by, and oh so valuable. Okay, so if I've got a 1988 penny with no mint mark, I can retire tomorrow, right? Well, hold on to your horses. Just because you've got a rare coin doesn't mean it's automatically worth a fortune. The real value comes from a few factors: condition, rarity, and demand. A worn-out, dirty penny isn't going to get you much. But one in mint condition, pun intended, could potentially fetch you millions. Yes, millions, like the $1.8 million we're talking about today. It's that rare. Let's talk about the condition for a second. A penny that's in great condition, with sharp details and no visible wear, is key to getting top dollar. You can think of it like an old car. You wouldn't pay top dollar for a classic muscle car that's all rusted and falling apart, right? Same with coins. The cleaner and more pristine, the more it'll fetch. If you find a 1988 no mint mark penny in, let's say, gently used condition, you're still looking at a pretty penny. But if it's in pristine condition, you've got yourself a collector's dream. Let me share a personal story with you. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my grandma's house. She was one of those people who never threw anything away, and I'm sure many of you can relate. Anyway, I came across a bunch of old coins that my grandfather had hoarded. Most of them were just regular pennies, nickels, and dimes. Nothing special. But then, in a dusty old jar, I found a 1982 penny. And, just like that, I learned about the 1982 copper versus zinc penny craze. I didn't think much of it, but turns out that penny was worth 10 times its face value because of its unique composition. I ended up selling it for a nice chunk of change. Moral of the story? Never overlook a coin, no matter how insignificant it seems at first. If you think you can just pick up a 1988 no mint mark penny for a couple bucks on eBay, think again. People who sell these pennies, and I mean serious collectors, they do their homework. It's not like finding a random coin on the sidewalk and hoping it's worth a fortune. These coins are in high demand, and they don't come cheap. So, you might be wondering, Where can I find one of these magical pennies? Well, your best bet is going through your spare change, checking out estate sales, or maybe even hunting through rolls of pennies from the bank. You never know. Today might be your lucky day. The 1988 no mint mark penny isn't exactly easy to spot. The lack of a mint mark can be hard to notice, especially if you're not familiar with how pennies are supposed to look. So make sure you're examining each coin carefully, and if you think you've found one, take it to a professional for a second opinion. Trust me, nothing is worse than discovering you threw away a fortune by accident, so the next time you reach into your couch cushions, check that jar of coins, or even peek through that bowl of loose change. Remember, that 1988 penny could be worth a small fortune, but it's all about keeping an eye out for those rare gems, the ones that stand out from the rest. If you're as excited about finding hidden treasures as I am, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You'll get more tips, tricks, and coin hunting strategies that could turn your pocket change into big bucks. And trust me, you won't want to miss out on our future videos. Who knows? The next time I'm talking about rare coins, it might just be your lucky day. Thanks for watching, folks. And remember, when it comes to coins, sometimes the smallest things can have the biggest value. See you in the next one. Well, hold on to your pennies, because today, we're talking about the 2013 Abraham Lincoln penny that could be worth a whopping $2 million. Yep, you heard me right. No mint mark, no problem. This little coin might be worth more than you think. But before you rush to check your piggy banks, let me walk you through the full story. What makes this coin special, how to spot one, and most importantly, what to do if you find one. You won't want to miss it.so. Let's start at the very beginning. The 2013 penny? You might be wondering, why 2013? I've got pennies from way back when. Are they worth more? Well, this specific penny is a bit of a rarity because of something that's missing. See, most pennies are stamped with a mint mark to tell you which U.S. mint they came from: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But, for some strange reason, a handful of 2013 pennies were made with no mint mark at all. Now, I can already hear you thinking, okay, cool, but why does that make it worth $2 million bucks? Well, let me explain. Mint marks are usually pretty important for coin collectors because they tell a lot about the history behind the coin. But when a penny is missing that mint mark, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. The rarity of a no mint mark penny from 2013 is what makes it so valuable. Let me give you a little history lesson. In 2013, the U.S. Mint produced pennies at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Typically, all of the pennies made at the Philadelphia Mint are supposed to have a P mint mark, and those from Denver get the D. But somehow, a small number of pennies were struck without any mint mark, making them incredibly rare, like a secret treasure hiding in plain sight. And it's that rarity that sends the price soaring. So how much are we talking here? $2 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $2 million bucks for one tiny penny. And I know, you're probably thinking, that's gotta be a typo. But no, it's not. Coins like these have gone for mind-blowing prices at auctions. The reason? The combination of rarity, demand, and the fact that no one really knows exactly how many of these mintless pennies exist makes collectors go wild. But here's the kicker. If you find one of these rare coins, it's not going to be as easy as tossing it into a jar with your other pennies. These coins are extremely hard to spot. The lack of a mint mark is the only thing that makes them stand out, and even then, you need to check it closely. If you've got a magnifying glass, or, maybe you need your glasses to see, take a good look at your pennies from 2013. If there's no P or D on the reverse side, you might have just struck gold. Well, copper, technically. A couple of years ago, I was at a garage sale, just casually browsing through some old coins when I stumbled upon a box full of pennies from the 2010s. They were all mixed together, some of them in a big jar. I figured, meh, just a bunch of copper, not worth much. But then, I noticed one penny had no mint mark. I froze for a second. Was this the one? The holy grail of pennies? I thought, there's no way. But I decided to take it home anyway. And folks, I'm not going to lie. It wasn't a 2013 no mint mark penny. But can you imagine the excitement when I thought for a split second that I might have just found the jackpot? The point here is that these coins are incredibly rare. And while you might not find one every day, they do pop up from time to time. So, how do you go about finding one? Go through your pennies from 2013. Simple enough, right? You probably have a jar or two somewhere. Use a magnifying glass or your phone's camera to zoom in on the reverse side of the penny. Look for any mint mark at all. If there's nothing there, you might have a winner. Get it checked out by a professional. If you think you've found one, don't just stash it away. Head over to a coin dealer or numismatist to have it appraised. You might have just hit the jackpot. And remember, not every 2013 penny without a mint mark is worth $2 million. But if it is, you'll want to make sure you get it authenticated. Just like any collectible, the value depends on the condition of the coin. So take good care of it. All right, coin collectors, let's recap. A 2013 penny with no mint mark could potentially be worth a staggering $2 million. But don't go off the deep end just yet. These coins are extremely rare, and finding one is like finding a needle in a haystack. But hey, it's worth checking through those old penny jars, right? And here's where you come in. If you want more tips on how to find coins worth money or learn about other rare gems hiding in plain sight, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more coin tips and tricks to share with you, and who knows? Your next treasure hunt might just be the one that turns your spare change into a small fortune. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and happy hunting out there. You never know, your next coin might be the one that makes you a millionaire. We're diving into something that might just make you dig through your old coin jar, and it's not for pocket change. I'm talking about a penny, yes, a 1985 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, but not just any penny. This little copper treasure could be worth up to $2.1 million today. No, this isn't a typo. You heard me right. $2.1 million. That's more than a lot of us make in a lifetime. So, if you've got one of these in your collection, you might just want to grab your magnifying glass and start looking at those pennies differently. All right, let's take a quick stroll down coin lane. When you think of a penny, you probably think of something you wouldn't even pick up off the ground. But let me tell you, pennies are not all created equal. Some are worth more than a taco dinner on Taco Tuesday, and then there are the special ones. The ones that could actually buy you that Taco Bell feast for a whole year. So, let's get into it. The 1985 D penny. It's not your average coin. It's a penny minted at the Denver Mint, which gives it the D Mint mark. Simple enough, right? But it's not the usual wear and tear that makes this penny stand out. It's a freaking error. And I know what you're thinking. Oh great, another error coin. But this is not just any error coin. This specific 1985 D penny is so rare that it could easily fetch a jaw-dropping price. You see, back in 1985, something went wrong during production. There was a misprint with the minting process, resulting in a unique double-die error. Essentially, the image on the obverse, the head side, wasn't stamped correctly, giving the coin some extra flair. Now, because this error wasn't caught right away, these pennies are incredibly hard to find in good condition. And when you combine rarity with historical significance, you end up with a coin that's worth millions. The first time this coin made waves in the market was when one sold for a little over $2 million. Yes, $2 million. That's right. This little copper circle with Abraham Lincoln's face can potentially put you in the Millionaire Club. Who knew Lincoln had such hidden riches, right? Let me put it this way. Imagine you're walking into a store and you see a penny on the ground. You might just walk on by thinking, just a penny. But in the case of the 1985 D Mint penny, you better bend down and take a second look. You could be holding on to a little gold mine. Or, well, copper mine. Sure, but how do I even know if I have one of these in my collection? Great question, my friend. The key is in the details. You need to get a good look at the mint mark and the overall condition of the coin. It has to have that double die error, where you see a little bit of an extra layer in the design. Sometimes it looks like there's a faint shadow around Lincoln's face or the date itself. If you don't have a microscope, a simple magnifying glass or even your smartphone camera can help spot these differences. Now, if you find one of these beauties, congratulations. But before you get too excited and run to sell it, remember, condition is everything. A worn-out penny with this error might still be worth more than a regular penny, but to really see that $2.1 million number, you're going to want one that's in mint condition. So, keep it safe, keep it clean, and don't go tossing it in your spare change jar, okay? Alright, now let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I had a penny collection that I thought was pretty impressive. I mean, I had everything from wheat pennies to some 1943 steel pennies. But there was this one time I found an old penny in my grandma's attic while I was sorting through some family stuff. It was an 1864 Indian head penny, and I thought, this could be worth a couple bucks. Cool. I took it to a local coin shop, and the dealer looked at it, raised an eyebrow, and said, "You sure this is an Indian head and not a rare one?" Long story short, turns out it wasn't just any Indian head. It was a rare one with an error, and it was worth way more than I expected. It was like finding a diamond in the rough. Moral of the story? You never know what you've got until you've done your homework and asked the right questions. So, if you've got any pennies or coins lying around, maybe give them a second look. Maybe that worthless coin is worth a lot more than you think. It's kind of like that time I found $20 in my coat pocket and felt like I just won the lottery. And trust me, finding an error penny could make you feel like you've hit the jackpot. All right, folks, that's the scoop on the 1985 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny and why it's worth way more than just your standard pocket change. If you've got one, treasure it. And if you don't despair. There's always a rare find around the corner. So, get out there, start looking through your old coins, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next big winner. But before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins, what makes them valuable, and maybe even some other coins worth. Alright, so you're sitting on the couch, flipping through your change jar, and bam, you spot something odd. You pull out an old penny, squint at it, and wonder, could this be worth more than the change I just found under my couch cushions? Spoiler alert, it could be, and not just a few bucks. We're talking about a coin that could fetch you $2.20 million. That's right, I'm talking about the 1978 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. If you've got one of those, you might just be holding the lottery ticket you didn't even know you had. So grab your pennies and let's dive into what makes this particular one so special, and how to know if you've struck gold, or in this case, copper. Now, before you start getting all excited and running to your coin jar, let me break this down for you. Most pennies you find in circulation will have a mint mark, either in D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But the 1978 penny? That's where things get a little wild. There's a rare variation of this penny that was minted with no mint mark at all. No D, no S, nada. Just a plain old penny. That's worth a fortune. Why? Because it's extremely rare. Now, don't go getting all dramatic about it. Just because it's a 1978 penny with no mint mark doesn't automatically mean it's worth $2.2 million. No, no, no. There's a whole process to verifying if you've got the real deal. And it's not like these pennies are just sitting in your couch cushions, waiting to be discovered. It's one of those crazy needle in a haystack situations. So, how does this happen? Well, the story goes like this. A couple of 1978 pennies were accidentally struck without a mint mark during the production process. These error coins are like the unicorns of the coin world, extremely rare, and in this case, they can sell for millions. This is the one you're looking for. See how there's no mint mark beneath the date? That's the key. You'll still see the regular Lincoln design, but this tiny little detail, no mint mark, is what makes it worth big bucks. I know, you're probably thinking, well, I've got a ton of old pennies. I'm rich. Slow down there, millionaire. Most of us have piles of 1978 pennies, but only a small number of them are missing that mint mark. So, let's talk about how you can actually figure out if you've got a rare one. The first thing you need to do is take a good, hard look at your coin. Is it a 1978 penny? Check. Is there no mint mark? Check. Great. But the next step is even trickier. Condition. Condition is everything in the world of rare coins. You might find the rarest penny on earth, but if it's been sitting in the dirt for years, it's not going to be worth much. Ideally, you want your coin to be in at least fine condition, meaning it's not too worn down, and you can still make out the details clearly. A well-preserved 1978 no mint mark penny? Now you're talking. Some of these can sell for upwards of $2.2 million, depending on how pristine they are. Okay, so what do you do if you think you've got one of these bad boys? The first step is to take it to a professional coin grader. These guys have the tools and knowledge to evaluate your coin properly. If it checks out, you could be looking at a fortune. Just make sure you're not jumping the gun, thinking every beat-up penny is worth a fortune, because it's probably not. Let me tell you a quick story. I remember when I first started getting into coin collecting. I was at a yard sale one day, and I found this old box full of random coins. I saw a few pennies from the 60s, and I thought, nothing special. But then, I came across a 1955 wheat penny. Now, I'd heard that these could be valuable, so I did what any rookie collector would do. I ran to the nearest coin shop. Turns out, it wasn't the rare double die variety I thought it was. But hey, at least I learned a lesson. Just because it looks special doesn't mean it's worth a fortune. That's why knowing the facts, like with the 1978 no mint mark penny, is so crucial. If you happen to have one of these 1978 no mint mark pennies and it's in perfect condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Or you could decide to hold on to it because, let's face it, who doesn't want to say they've got a coin worth millions? So, to sum it all up, the 1978 no mint mark penny is a super rare find. If you've got one, and it's in great condition, it could be worth a lot of money, like $2.2 million worth of money. But it's all about condition and making sure you have the right coin. So, go check your pennies and maybe, just maybe, you're about to become the next coin millionaire. And hey, if you found this video helpful, or if you're just fascinated by all things coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips on valuable coins, strategies for collecting, and all things that make your spare change worth a lot more. Trust me, you won't want to miss out. We're talking about the 2016 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that could be worth as much as $2.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2.3 million for a penny. Now, before you rush to check your piggy bank, let me tell you how this penny can make you rich, why it's so valuable, and whether it's time to cash in on your collection or not. So, grab your magnifying glass and your lucky coin pouch. This is going to be a wild ride. Now, when we talk about a 2016 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, you're probably wondering, what's so special about this coin? Isn't a penny just a penny? Well, you'd be right, if it weren't for this little detail, the lack of a mint mark. See, in 2016, the US Mint made a mistake when striking these pennies. Normally, every penny made by the US Mint has a mint mark on it, showing where it was produced. The D means it came from the Denver Mint, the S means San Francisco, and the P is for Philadelphia. But in 2016, a small batch of pennies rolled out of the mint without any mint mark at all. This tiny error caused a massive uproar in the coin collecting world. Here's the kicker. Mint marks are supposed to be there, and their absence on the 2016 pennies made them super rare. To make matters more exciting, the number of these error pennies is incredibly low. Some experts estimate that only a handful of these coins were ever produced. Talk about a needle in a haystack, right? Now, as for the value, brace yourself. While the typical 2016 penny is worth exactly 1 cent, this error penny, it could sell for $2.3 million at auction. And let me tell you, that's not just some rumor on the internet. There have been actual sales where these coins have fetched huge sums of money, especially in mint condition. But here's the thing. You might be sitting on one of these pennies right now and not even realize it. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I found a penny in my couch cushions. Now, you've probably found a penny or two in the couch, right? Maybe you think it's just some dirty old coin, but I decided to give it a closer look, because you never know. I flipped it over and lo and behold, it was a 1982 penny, an old one. I thought, wow, that's cool, but it's still just a penny. But guess what? After a quick search, I found out that this penny could be worth up to $20. Yes, $20. It wasn't a $2.3 million penny, but it was worth more than the average 1-cent coin. So, moral of the story? Always check your change. You never know when you might find a rare gem hiding in plain sight. Now, let's break down how you can identify one of these error coins. First, you need to check the year. Make sure it's a 2016 penny. Then, flip it over and inspect the reverse side, where the mint mark would normally be. If there's nothing there, you might just have yourself a rare coin. But don't stop there. Make sure your penny is in good condition. Coins with higher grades, meaning they've been preserved in near-perfect condition, are worth far more than those that are worn down from years of being tossed in pockets or jars. So, if you find one, hold on to it. Treat it like it's your most precious possession, because it might just be. And don't worry if you don't find a 2016 no mint mark penny today. There are plenty of other rare coins out there that are worth a lot of money. So if this coin isn't the one, there's always the next one. Keep your eyes peeled and stay curious, because there's a whole world of valuable coins waiting to be discovered. The 2016 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a rare and valuable find. While most pennies are worth just 1 cent, this error coin could be worth millions, especially if it's in great condition. If you happen to find one, make sure you don't just toss it back into your change jar. Treat it with care, get it authenticated, and you might just be cashing in on a small fortune. If you want more tips on rare coins, money-making strategies, and the lowdown on other valuable finds, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss out on the next coin discovery that could make you rich. I'll be here to guide you through the world of coins and keep you in the loop on everything worth your while. Have you ever found a penny in your pocket, tossed it aside, and thought, just a cent? Well, what if I told you that one particular penny from 2006, without a mint mark, is worth more than most people's entire car? Yes, you heard that right. That tiny copper coin could be worth, wait for it, $2.4 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. Where the heck do I find one of these? Well, don't worry. I'm here to tell you all about it and help you figure out if your pocket change could make you a millionaire. So, grab your magnifying glass. Let's dive into the world of the rare 2006 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You won't want to miss this. Now, let's talk about this little penny and why it's worth so much. First off, let's break it down. We all know the penny is a symbol of humble beginnings, right? Well, sometimes humble doesn't mean low value. Take the 2006 no mint mark penny, for example. If you're a casual coin collector, you might be thinking, how could a penny with no mint mark be worth millions? Let me explain. You see, the United States Mint usually puts a mint mark on coins to indicate where they were made. You've got the D for Denver, the S for San Francisco, and the P for Philadelphia. So, what's so special about a penny that has nothing? No mint mark? Nada. Zip. Well, in 2006, something odd happened. Some pennies that should have had a mint mark didn't. And these coins, which were supposed to be stamped with a D for Denver, were made in Philadelphia but never marked with the usual P. Now, these no mint mark pennies are incredibly rare. Most of the time, when something like this happens, people think, hey, no big deal, and they move on. But in the world of coins, that no big deal is a massive deal. This error is a big reason why some of these pennies are being sold for a small fortune, like the $2.4 million one we're talking about today. But wait, before you start raiding your piggy bank or diving into every jar of pennies you have lying around, not every 2006 penny without a mint mark is going to make you a millionaire. Most of these coins are worth about $1 or $2, maybe even a few more if they're in great condition. But the key here is rarity and condition. This coin has got to be in excellent shape, uncirculated, and ideally, still have that shiny, new look from 2006. Do you remember that time when you were cleaning out your couch cushions and found a penny? Maybe it was an old one from your childhood, or maybe you thought it was just a random coin. Well, one time, I found an old penny while cleaning out my car. It was just sitting there in the cup holder, looking all sad and beaten up. I almost tossed it, but then I remembered hearing stories of rare coins, and suddenly, I felt like I was on a treasure hunt. So, I pulled out my magnifying glass and took a closer look. Unfortunately, it wasn't the 2006 no mint mark penny, but I sure felt like a detective. The excitement of thinking you might have found something valuable is real, and let me tell you, when it comes to rare pennies, that excitement is contagious. So, how do you tell if your 2006 penny is the one that could make you millions? First, check for that mint mark. No mint mark means it was supposed to be from Denver but was made in Philadelphia. Next, examine the condition. If it looks like it just came from the mint, you might have something valuable on your hands. And don't forget, if it has that error, it's worth a lot more than your average penny. But here's a little warning. Be cautious. The coin world has its share of fakes. If you think you found something special, get it authenticated by a professional. I once bought a rare coin online that was supposed to be an ultra-rare gold coin, only to find out it was just a really convincing replica made out of chocolate. I kid you not, chocolate. Moral of the story: always double-check before you start celebrating your windfalls. Oh, what's the takeaway from all of this? Well, check your pennies. Seriously, you never know what could be sitting in your jar of change or your coin collection. That 2006 no-mint mark penny could be your ticket to $1 million payday, or at least a little extra cash in your pocket. And hey, it never hurts to be a little lucky, right? If you're fascinated by rare coins, valuable pennies, or just enjoy learning about the odd little things in life that could make you rich, then hit that subscribe button. Trust me, I've got more tips and tricks to help you find hidden gems in your change. Who knows? Maybe the next $2.4 million coin is sitting in your couch cushions right now. Stay tuned for more videos, and let's keep searching for that hidden treasure together. You're sifting through a jar of loose change, just looking for a couple of pennies to toss into your piggy bank. When bam, you find a coin that could be worth more than your car, your house, or, let's be real, your entire savings account. Yep, I'm talking about the 1967 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. I'm not kidding when I say that coin could make you richer than you ever imagined, so stick around, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down the insane value of this elusive little penny, why it's worth a small fortune today, and what you need to look for if you think you might have one sitting in your collection or your pocket. Alright, let's dive into the basics first. In 1967, the US Mint was doing its thing, producing billions of pennies. But here's the kicker. There was a mysterious batch of pennies that didn't have the mint mark. Normally, you'd see a little D or S on the coin, signifying whether it was made in Denver or San Francisco. But these special 1967 pennies? No mint mark. Zero. Zilch. Nada. It's like the coin version of an unsolved mystery. Now, you might be thinking, hey, I have a bunch of pennies just like that. I see them all the time. Are they worth millions? Well, not exactly. You see, the thing about the 1967 no-mint mark penny is that it's incredibly rare. Experts believe it was a production error, and while most of the pennies that were made in '67 have the typical mint mark, these few slipped through the cracks without one. So, what's the big deal about a penny that just doesn't have a mint mark? Well, let me tell you, it's all about rarity and demand. You see, people love rare things, whether it's vintage toys, limited edition sneakers, or unmarked pennies. The 1967 no-mint mark penny is one of those coins that really got collectors excited, and as a result, the market value has absolutely soared. In fact, you're looking at an estimated value of $2.6 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that started out worth just 1 cent could now be worth over $2.6 million. Now, let's pause for a second. Imagine this. You're at a yard sale, and someone's offering you a jar of pennies for a couple of bucks. You're thinking, hey, it's a good deal. I'll take it. Then, as you're going through the pennies, you find one that's completely smooth on the back. No mint mark. Your heart skips a beat. Your palms start to sweat, and you whisper to yourself, am I about to become a millionaire? I know, it sounds like a dream, but it's not impossible. And that's why knowing the value of these rare pennies is so important. But don't just take my word for it. Collectors, numismatists, that's fancy talk for coin experts, and auction houses all recognize the 1967 no-mint mark penny as a major find. The fact that it's so rare and mysterious makes it one of the holy grails of the penny world. So, what exactly makes this penny so valuable? Well, it's the story behind it. A lot of times, coins become valuable not just because they're old, but because they're part of a limited group or have some kind of oddity that makes them stand out. These 1967 no-mint mark pennies are, in a way, like the unicorns of the coin world. Their rarity makes them highly desirable, and that, my friend, is what pushes their value up into the stratosphere. But let's be clear, not every 1967 penny without a mint mark is worth $1 million. In fact, most are worth next to nothing. So, what should you be looking for? If you find a 1967 penny without a mint mark, you want to make sure it's authentic. A lot of counterfeits have popped up, so it's important to have it verified by a professional. Look for signs of wear, the quality of the engraving, and of course, compare it to known examples. If you're unsure, don't hesitate to reach out to a coin dealer or numismatist to get an expert opinion. If you're really serious about making sure you're not missing out on potential riches, Keep your eyes peeled for any unusual markings on other coins, too. Rare coins aren't just limited to the 1967 penny. There are tons of hidden gems out there, waiting to be discovered. The more you educate yourself about coin values and rare finds, the better your chances of finding something that could make you a fortune. Alright, so now you're probably running to your coin jar, aren't you? Just remember, while it would be amazing to stumble upon a $2.6 million penny, not every 1967 penny without a mint mark is going to make you a millionaire. But hey, it's always fun to dream, right? And even if you don't find a rare penny, there are still plenty of other coins out there with hidden value waiting for you to find out. So, if you've got a collection you've been ignoring or a pile of spare change you've been putting off sorting through, maybe it's time to give them a second look. Who knows? You might just be holding on to a little piece of history that's worth a whole lot more than you think. If you found this info helpful and entertaining, I hope, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and coin strategies coming your way, so don't miss out. Who knows what treasure you'll uncover next? Hey, coin lovers, let me ask you a question. Have you ever picked up a penny and thought, it's just a penny, no big deal? Well, today's video is going to make you rethink that. Because what if I told you that one specific penny from 2017 could be worth, drumroll please, a jaw-dropping $2.7 million? Yes, you heard me right. A penny. $2.7 million. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? But trust me, it's real, and I'm about to tell you all about it. So sit tight, grab your magnifying glass, and get ready to find out what makes this 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny so special that it could land you a small fortune. Spoiler alert, it's not just a regular penny. Let's dive in. Now, most of us probably don't pay much attention to pennies anymore. They're a bit like that friend who always shows up uninvited to your party, kind of annoying, but harmless, right? But not this one. The 2017 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny has been quietly making waves in the coin world. And if you have one of these, well, you might want to start checking your couch cushions or maybe your grandma's old coin jar. So, what makes this penny so rare and valuable? You might be thinking, okay, it's just another penny with a date on it, right? Wrong. This particular penny is a part of an incredibly rare and highly coveted error coin category. It's called the double die error. Now, let me explain what a double die is for those of you who aren't already coin experts. In simple terms, it means that the coin was stamped twice, creating a double image of the design. It's like when you're trying to write a letter and your pen slips just a bit, except here, it happens to the entire design on the coin. So, on this penny, you'll see that Lincoln's portrait and the lettering are slightly doubled, making it a rare find. If you've got one of these, you're holding onto something special. And it gets even better. Since there were only a limited number of these error coins minted, their rarity has skyrocketed, which brings us to the real kicker. This little penny could be worth up to $2.7 million. Yeah, you're probably thinking, are you kidding me? A penny worth a couple of $1,000,000? Trust me, I thought the same thing when I first heard about it. But the crazy part is, these error coins aren't just rare. They're highly sought after by collectors who are willing to drop some serious cash to own a piece of coin history. And here's where it gets personal. About a year ago, I found an old coin at a flea market. I thought it was just a dusty old quarter. And guess what? Turns out, it was a rare 1964 silver quarter. Not worth millions, but it did sell for a nice little chunk of change. I was hooked from that moment on, and if you're watching this, chances are you're going to be hooked too. So, how can you spot a 2017 D penny that's worth $2.7 million? First, you'll need to get your hands on a magnifying glass because you need to look closely at Lincoln's face, the word Liberty, and the date 2017. If you spot any doubling in those areas, like you see two of everything, then congratulations, you might be looking at a fortune. If you're not sure, take a photo and send it to a professional coin grader or appraiser just to be safe. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the chance to cash in on this. But here's the thing. Finding a rare coin is like finding a needle in a haystack. You won't stumble upon one every day, but when you do, it's absolutely worth the time and effort to go through your change or check out local coin shops. A little bit of luck, and you could be sitting on a small fortune. And hey, Even if you don't have a $2.7 million penny, there are plenty of other coins out there with high value. So it's always a good idea to keep your eyes peeled. Alright, my fellow coin hunters, that's all for today. I hope this little nugget of coin wisdom has got you excited to start hunting for rare finds. Remember, the 2017 D Lincoln penny with the double die error could be worth a life-changing amount. But even if you don't have one, there's always the next coin waiting to be discovered. If you love this video and want to learn more tips on coins worth money, or maybe even some strategies for hunting down your own treasure, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss out on future videos where I dive into even more rare and valuable coins. So until next time, keep hunting, keep searching, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find your own $2.7 million penny. Alright, folks, grab your magnifying glass and get ready to dive into one of the most mind-blowing coin stories you've never heard. Because today, we're talking about a coin that could be hiding in your pocket, your drawer, or maybe your grandma's cookie jar, just waiting to make you a millionaire. Yes, I'm talking about the 1975 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Hold on to your seats, because this penny has a value that will leave you speechless. Up to a whopping $2.80 million. Now, before you start checking your couch cushions for spare change, let's dive into why this penny is so valuable and what makes it so special. You might have one sitting in your coin jar right now and not even know it's. Oh, you're probably asking, why is a penny from 1975 worth so much? Wasn't a penny just a penny? Well, yes and no. Most 1975 pennies are worth just about 1 cent. Shocking, right? But there's a rare exception that you should be aware of, and I promise, it's not just some wild coin collector myth. The 1975 Lincoln penny without a mint mark has captured the imagination of coin enthusiasts and collectors around the world. So what makes it worth millions? Let me break it down for you. Philadelphia and Denver. Most coins made at the Philadelphia Mint have no mint mark, while those from Denver have a small D on them. Now, you'd expect a penny from 1975 to follow this pattern, right? But here's the twist. Some of the 1975 pennies came from a batch that didn't have any mint mark at all. It was a production error. These no mint mark pennies are believed to have been struck using leftover dies from the 1974 penny production. In 1975, the mint was supposed to update the design with a new set of dies, but due to a mix-up, they didn't. This led to a very small number of 1975 pennies without the mint mark. It's like walking into a store to buy a loaf of bread, and instead of a regular loaf, they hand you a golden ticket by accident. I mean, imagine getting handed a mistake that would turn you into a millionaire. That's what happened to these pennies. While there are thousands of 1975 pennies out there, only a few of these no-mint mark beauties exist. In fact, there are so few that experts believe their market value has skyrocketed to as much as $2.8 million for one penny. Yes, you heard me right, a single penny. Now, before you run off to check all your pennies, here's the reality check. The odds of finding one are super slim. A 1975 no-mint mark penny in mint condition is the holy grail for collectors, and even if you find one, it's gotta be in top-notch shape to fetch that $1 million price tag. Condition is key here. These rare coins need to be in mint condition, which means no scratches, no signs of wear and tear, and no little dents from your overzealous coin collecting adventures. If you find a 1975 penny that looks like it's been through a tornado, don't expect to see $2.8 million in your future. But hey, don't let that stop you from searching. If you happen to stumble upon one of these rarities in pristine condition, you could be sitting on a gold mine. But even if you don't, finding a rare penny in decent shape can still be worth something, just maybe not millions. Now, let me tell you a little story about my own coin collecting journey. It wasn't nearly as glamorous as finding a $1 million penny, but it was a pretty fun ride. I remember going through a box of change I found in my grandma's attic. Just a bunch of old coins, nothing special, or so I thought. There were some old dimes, a few worn-out quarters, and a whole bunch of pennies. I wasn't expecting much, just casually flipping through them, until I came across an old 1943 steel penny. Now, I didn't know at the time that this was actually a valuable coin, but I thought, hey, it looks cool, kind of different from the regular pennies. It wasn't worth $1 million, but it was definitely worth more than a penny. I ended up selling it for a nice little sum. It wasn't anywhere near $2.8 million, but hey, I made some money off of a coin that I almost tossed aside. That's the thrill of coin collecting. It's like treasure hunting. You never know what you'll find when you dig through your spare changed SO. In conclusion, the 1975 no-mint mark penny is truly one of the most mind-blowing finds in the world of coin collecting. The chances of finding one are rare, but the reward is sky-high. If you happen to discover one, make sure it's in mint condition and get ready to cash in on a small fortune. Even if you don't, though, coin collecting is still a fun and exciting hobby that can pay off in unexpected ways. Just ask me in my 1943 steel penny. Before you go running off to check your penny jar, which, let's be honest, we all have one, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and coin hunting strategies that could turn your spare change into real cash. Who knows what treasure might be sitting right under your nose? So, smash that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and let's keep hunting for the next big find together. You never know. Your next coin could be worth a fortune.